Dear students, I am Saroj. Today I am back with the new chapter, that is chapter number 6. In the part 1 we have discussed about the magnetic flux, how we can produce the changing magnetic flux, and today I am going to give you the introduction to the EMI, and EMI stands for the electromagnetic induction. So the particular concept have been given by Michael Faraday in 1831 in England, and Joseph Henry simultaneously at the same time he was also working on the EMI, and he has both have discovered that the current can be produced in a loop of a wire if the magnet is suddenly moved towards the loop or away from the loop such that the changing magnetic flux takes place. This current that lasts as long as the changing magnetic flux linked with the closed circuit. This phenomena is called as electromagnetic induction, which means inducing or generating the current, and the process that we have used or the thing that we have used for converting the magnetic energy into the electrical energy is magnetism. So over here we have just taken the concept of the bar magnet. We are just moving either the bar magnet towards the coil or the coil towards the bar magnet, or both. Due to the relative motion of both, we can generate the electricity by using the magnetism, and this particular you can say part is known as EMI in case of physics. So now we are going to discuss about the definition. So definition of electromagnetic induction is given by the phenomena of generation or inducing of current or EMF by changing the magnetic flux with a closed circuit. Here the closed circuit can have any shape, is known as the electromagnetic induction. So the method or the phenomena by which we will be able to convert the magnetic field or the magnetic energy into the electrical energy, or by the help of magnetism we will be able to generate the electricity. That phenomena is called as the electromagnetic induction, in which there should be a rate of change of magnetic flux. That means there should be a changing flux. So now this phenomena is based on so many experiments performed by Faraday's in laboratory, and then further conclusion have been made by the Heinrich Lenz, as he has given his own law by which the direction of induced current can be determined. So initially the Faraday has given the concept of EMI, but in that particular case he have given the concept that the EMF induced is directly proportional to the rate of change of magnetic flux, but he was failed to give the direction of induced current or the direction of induced EMF, and that particular concept has been given by Heinrich Lenz, and he has given that in direction in which the induced current or EMF is going to generate. Now in the very next case we are going to discuss about the Faraday's experiment. The Faraday's experiment, and this is Faraday's first experiment, in which there is a coil as you can see on the screen, and with respect to this particular coil there will be the motion in the bar magnet. If we are going to shift the bar magnet towards the coil or away from the coil, so both the cases we are going to see in the same diagram only. When this bar magnet is going to shift it towards the left hand side of the coil, then this particular coil is going to, this as well as this, both the coils are going to show you the generation of current, how the current have been generated. So we are going to discuss about the induced current direction. So now in this particular case just see that the bar magnet have been shifted towards the left hand side of the coil. In this particular coil you can see that the galvanometer has shown the right hand side deflection, and in this particular case the anti-clockwise direction of current have been induced. Similarly in the second diagram if you will see, then in this particular case clockwise direction of current have been generated, and the galvanometer has shown the deflection towards the left hand side. In this particular case how this particular thing have been done is, over here you can see that when north pole is shifted towards the coil automatically has generated the north pole at this particular side in the coil, and due to which there will be the induced current, as there is a changing magnetic field, and due to changing magnetic field there is a changing magnetic flux which is linking with the coil, and due to this particular changing magnetic flux there will be the induced current in the coil. Both the coils are going to generate the induced current. In first case, this is due to the motion of the magnet towards the coil. In this particular case, like poles have been generated in the coil, and similarly in the second coil if you will see, unlike pole have been generated as the bar magnet is moving away from this particular coil. In this particular case, as the bar magnet is moving away from it, it tries to maintain the you can say magnetic field strength to be constant, but it is moving away from this. As the magnetic field strength is decreasing, here also the changing magnetic flux is linking with this particular coil, and due to which there is again the induced current. In both the cases, the direction of induced current is opposite to each other, as the motion of the bar magnet is, you can say, towards the first coil and away from the second coil, and due to which there is the opposite direction of induced current in both the coils. Now we are going to discuss about the second case in which we are shifting the south pole of the magnet first towards the coil of the left hand side and away from the coil of the right hand side. In this particular case also you can see that as the phenomena is same, in case of towards the same pole have been generated, so that it will be able to repel the bar magnet, so that the rate of change of magnetic flux will be able to increase further. So it tries to oppose it, and there will be a force of repulsion due to the coil towards the bar magnet, so that the motion can be opposed. This particular concept although have been given by the Lenz's law, but here it is also mandatory, so that we will be able to conclude that how the direction of current have been induced here. So in this particular case you can see that towards the south pole, just see, towards the south pole in the coil have been generated, so that it will be able to repel it, and in this particular case the direction of current is clockwise. Similarly in the second case, if you will see, here there is a north pole, and here also the south pole, the unlike pole have been generated as the bar magnet is moving away from the coil, this particular coil, and hence the direction of current in this particular case is anti-clockwise, because at this side you can see there is a north pole. So the direction of current produced here also is opposite to each other, due to the bar magnet motion. Towards this side it is moving towards the coil, and in this particular case it is moving away from the coil, and due to which there will be the induced current in the opposite direction, and galvanometer is also going to show you the deflection in the opposite direction. In the first case it is going to show you the deflection in the left hand side, and in this particular case it is going to show you the deflection towards the right hand side. So I hope this particular experiment is clear to you, and you will be also able to calculate the induced current direction, as I have directed you that how the induced current direction is depending upon the motion of the bar magnet. Always understand the concept that whenever there will be the increase in magnetic flux, the force of repulsion is supposed to generated, and this is only going to happen when the motion of the bar magnet is towards the coil. In this particular case it will try to repel this, and hence the same pole have been generated in the coil. And similarly in the very next case, if you will see the away motion, in that particular case also, when the bar magnet is going to shift away from the coil, in that particular case the rate of change of magnetic flux linking with the coil is going to reduce. In that particular case it is going to generate the unlike pole and show you the force of attraction, so that it will be able to attract the bar magnet towards it, so that it can oppose its motion. Although that particular concept have been given by Lenz's law, but this is the natural phenomena have been generated. This particular thing is not observed by the Faraday's. This thing is have been you can say observed by the Lenz's law. Faraday only have given you the concept of induced EMF as well as of the induced current and what will be its magnitude. He has not given the any concept related to the direction of induced EMF as well as for the induced current. So now I am just shifting towards the very second slide, you can see, in which I am going to discuss about the observations of the Faraday's experiment. So observation of Faraday's experiment, the first observation that we have seen is when the north pole of a bar magnet is moved towards the coil, the galvanometer shows deflection in the right hand side. So that is what in the previous diagram we have seen. And when the north pole of the bar magnet is moved away from the coil, the galvanometer shows the deflection in the left hand side. That also we have seen, and it will be vice versa with the case of south pole. So in the very next case I have discussed with for the south pole, if the south pole of the bar magnet move towards or away from the coil, the galvanometer shows the deflection in the opposite direction obtained in the north pole case. That means when the bar magnet is moving towards the south pole, it is going to show the deflection towards the left hand side, and when the bar magnet is moving away from the coil, then it is going to show you the deflection towards the right hand side, which is opposite to the north pole case. Now in the very next case, last case, that is very important case, when the magnet is held stationary, that means the magnet is not moving. In this particular case, you can take the case when the bar magnet is moving, bar magnet and the coil both are at rest, both are stationary. There will be no deflection in the galvanometer. Why there will be no deflection in the galvanometer? The reason behind it is because there will be no rate of change of magnetic flux, as the magnetic field strength is also remain constant, as the bar magnet is not moving towards the coil. In that particular case, rate of change of magnetic flux cannot be generated, as the number of magnetic field lines crossing through the bar your coil is not changing, and due to which changing flux cannot be generated. And for EMI, it is mandatory that there should be the generation of changing magnetic flux. So now in the very next case, I am going to give you one note which is very important. Same experiment can be performed by making the bar magnet to be stationary and the coil is in motion, or by moving both the coil as well as the bar magnet. That means it is not at all the mandatory condition that the bar magnet only should supposed to move. If the coil is also going to move and bar magnet is kept stationary, then also the changing flux can be generated. If the relative motion is there between the two, then also the you can say changing magnetic flux can be generated. Only one case is there when there will be no induced current, when both are moving with the, you can say, approaching towards each other with the same velocity. In that particular case, the changing magnetic flux from, you can say, with respect to the magnet as well as with respect to the coil, when some other coil is placed in between. This particular case will discuss with respect to the numerical. In that particular case, due to this relative motion, there will be no induced current and no induced EMF in the coil which is placed between the two. Now in the very next case, we are going to discuss about faster the relative motion between the bar magnet and the coil, greater will be the rate of change of magnetic flux linking with the coil, and hence greater will be the induced current and EMF. If the velocity is going to increase, or the relative motion between the coil and the bar magnet is increasing, or you can say faster, then in that particular case the induced EMF and the induced current will be larger, as it is directly proportional to the rate of change of magnetic flux. And in this particular case, the rate of change of magnetic flux is also increasing with the fastest rate. So now in the very next case, I am going to give you the Faraday's law statements. So what does the conclusion of the Faraday's law, which he has given in the two statements of his? So first statement that he has given, which is also called as the first law, whenever there is a change in the magnetic flux linking with the circuit with time t, an EMF is induced or produced in the circuit which lasts as long as there is change in magnetic flux continues, which is very important point, that there should be a changing magnetic flux. If there is no change in magnetic flux, there will be no induced EMF. Please mark a note of it. Whenever there is changing magnetic flux, only in that particular case there will be the induced EMF. Now in the very second law, he has said that the magnitude of the induced EMF is directly proportional to the rate of change of magnetic flux linked with the closed circuit. That can be any closed circuit irrespective of the shape I am saying. So now I am going to discuss about the mathematical expression. So over here you can see that the modulus of E is directly proportional to the rate of change of magnetic flux, or you can say the magnitude E is equal to K d phi by dt, where K is the constant which is called as proportionality constant, and by the further calculation we found it out that it is equal to unity. And in case when we do not have the rate of change of, that means we only knows about the initial and the final flux, then we can calculate it in terms of the final flux minus initial flux upon the total time. So phi 2 minus phi 1 by t is also the induced EMF, where d phi by dt is the rate of change of magnetic flux and is the number of turns in the coil. That over here the new formula can be n d phi by dt, where it is going to increase in terms of number of turns. So as the number of turns goes on increasing, the induced EMF strength is also going to increase, as it is also directly proportional to the number of turns. That particular formula I have given with the Lenz's law. So now over here the K is a constant and its value is 1. Now in the very next case you can see the Lenz's law. So what the Lenz's law states? The statement is the direction of induced EMF or the induced current is such that it opposes the change that is producing it. That does mean whatever cause has generated it is going to reduce it, it is going to oppose it, it tries to attain the constant value, and hence the EMF or the induced current is always in the opposite direction to the with respect to motion. So when we have seen in the Faraday's law experiment, when the magnet is moving towards the coil, in that particular case it tries to repel it. Why it tries to repel it? Because it wants to make the rate of change of magnetic flux to be constant, so that as the rate of change of magnetic flux is responsible for generating the induced EMF and the induced current, so it tries to oppose it so that it generates in the opposite direction, so that it can oppose the motion of the bar magnet. So towards the north pole have been generated, same pole have been generated so that it can repel the bar magnet. Similarly, in case of south pole, so when the I'll take the away case also. So when the bar magnet moves away from the coil, and in this particular case we'll take the south pole to be the example. So when the south pole is moving away from the coil, it generates the north pole, so that there will be a force of attraction and it tries to attract the bar magnets towards the coil, so that the rate of change of decreasing magnetic flux can be maintained constant, because the you can say changing magnetic flux is continuously decreasing and it tries to maintain it, it tries to increase it. So the induced current is in the opposite direction. So it tries to generate the force of attraction so that the coil can be attracted towards the bar magnet and the decreasing magnetic flux can be increased. So that is why it is saying that it opposes the cause. It opposes its own cause, which is generating the induced EMF or the induced current. I hope it is clear to you. So now that is, it opposes its cause that has produced it, which means that the motion of either bar magnet, coil, or relative motion of both, so it is going to oppose the motion of the coil with respect to the bar magnet, or bar magnet with respect to the coil, or the relative motion of the both. So now in the very next case we have seen the mathematical expression that E is directly proportional to minus n d phi by dt. Here the negative sign indicates that the direction of the induced EMF and the induced current will be opposite into the, you can say, the cause, which is the rate of change of magnetic flux. If it's increasing, it tries to decrease it. If it's decreasing, it tries to increasing, by generating the you can say magnetic poles in the coil, so that such that if it is increasing, it generates the same pole, so that force of repulsion take place and it tries to decrease the rate of change of flux. Similarly, if it is moving away from this, that means the flux is decreasing. In that particular case, it generates the opposite pole, so that it can attract the magnet towards it, so that decreasing magnetic flux can be increased further. So it does the opposite you can say motion, where d phi by dt is again the rate of change of magnetic flux and is the number of turns, and negative sign, as already I have told you, is the direction of the induced EMF or the induced current, which is always opposite to the cause. Now in the very next case, this is very important, that Lenz's law and law of conservation of energy. How the Lenz's law, you can say, proof the law of conservation of energy. In this particular case, you will just go through by the statement, for generating the changing magnetic flux, the magnet is moved towards or away from the coil, but the induced current direction is such that it always opposes the motion of the magnet. I hope this statement is clear with respect to the Faraday's first experiment, as well as the explanation that I have just given you for the Lenz's law, that how it opposes the cause with respect to the example of Faraday's law only. Now in the hence the work has to be done in moving the bar magnet closer to the coil, which was the case in case the bar magnet is moving closer to the coil. In that particular case, force of repulsion have been take place when the north pole is moving towards the coil. So north pole have been generated, opposite pole have been generated, it tries to oppose it. So for that particular opposition, force of repulsion, it has to do some work, and that particular work, you can say, is converted into your electrical energy. Therefore, the mechanical energy is converted into electrical energy, and thus the Lenz's law is in accordance with the law of conservation of energy, and hence it proves that over here also the particular opposition causes the mechanical work has to be done, and due to this particular mechanical work, this particular mechanical work is converted into the electrical energy, and hence we have just proved the law of conservation of energy by the Lenz's law. Now in the very next case, I am going to discuss about the Lenz's law, consequence of the law of conservation of energy. Lenz's law as the consequence of the law of conservation of energy. How the consequence is also going to be very important. Just go through by the statement. So you can see the statement. If the Lenz's law is not valid, here we are assuming that only the Faraday's law is true and Lenz's law has not been given. In that particular case, the reverse would happen. That is, the reverse would happen. What reverse would happen in that particular case? It is not going to oppose the motion of the bar magnet towards the coil, and there is no force of repulsion. Say an example, there is no force of repulsion in case of when it is moving towards the coil, and there is no force of attraction when it is moving away from the coil. In that particular case, the induced EMF does not opposes or aids the changes. That means it is not going to oppose the motion which is generating the induced EMF or the current. Then a little change in the magnetic flux would produce an induced current, which would help the change of flux further, thereby producing more current, and the increased EMF would then cause further change of flux. That means flux goes on increasing and increasing. There is no phenomena which is going to try to decrease it, and it would further increasing the current and so on. That means in this particular case, the induced current magnitude goes on increasing and nothing is going to repel it, and this would create energy out of nothing. That means there is no work has been done, there is no mechanical energy imparted to the you can say coil to the whole system, and still we are able to generate the electrical energy, which is violating the law of conservation of energy. So this is the consequence if we are not blessed, you can say, with the Lenz's law, or Lenz's law has not given his particular conclusion to the EMI. In that particular case, we will violate the law of conservation of energy. That means the law of conservation of energy is not going to hold on the EMF, which is not true. So this is the consequence of the law of conservation of energy if the Lenz's law is not valid. So at this particular part, I'm just winding up with the video. I hope my videos are helping you all out. Now in the very next video, I'm going to discuss about the method of generating of induced EMF, in which we are going to discuss about the various method by which we can generate the changing magnetic flux by changing the magnetic field strength, as we have just studied in the Faraday's law or the Faraday's experiment. There are the 3 Faraday's experiment. I have only concluded first only, so you can go through by your reference book of the 2, and you can go through by them. Over there you are also going to get the mutual you can say induced EMF in the 2 coils, when due to the primary there is a linking flux in the secondary, and due to that linking changing variable flux, there will be the induced EMF in the secondary coil. So that I am going to discuss in the mutual inductance case. Over there I am going to discuss about the mutual induction. At that time I am going to discuss about the Faraday's that experiment, and I am going to discuss about the observation of the second experiment in the mutual induction. So I hope my videos are helping you all out. So I am you can say saying thank you to you for watching this particular video. Share, like, and just subscribe our Triveni School channel. So thank you so much.